you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match, a Married at First Sight podcast, where we will be breaking down season 16, episode 3. Even though the show is shorter, I'm sure we are still going to go 2.5 hours on this podcast because that's just how we do it. I am Jason Reed, one of your hosts. I am here with my co-host, Aysha Welch. Aysha, how are you?
Hey, Jason. I'm doing okay. It wasn't the best episode. I was at this point where I was hoping that we would be, going forward. Once you get past the weddings, things are supposed to be on the incline, and I don't quite feel that way, but maybe with the next time on, things will be a little bit better. But for this episode, there were things that happened. We might have a little bit to say, but it took us 5 minutes to create a Facebook password. That's how little stood out from this episode.
Digging, trying to find something of relevance to make the Facebook password this week. It took a minute for sure.
Right. Yeah, I was like, what made me laugh? What really just kind of was like, oh, this was, man, that moment. No. I think I'm going to be as critical on this episode as Felina was on Jasmine.
Or old Linda, Mac's mom, is on Dominique. Or Dominique's mom on Mac.
Right.
A lot of critical people in these families this season.
Nicole's dad
yep.
on Chris.
Nicole's dad and Dominique's mom should get together because they both were like, yeah, seems nice, but you know who else is nice? A serial killer.
Let's dissect that. Why? Yeah. Why is that the comparison?
I think it's a common phrase. Like, everyone seems nice till you really get to know them.
That's a common phrase. Not serial killers are also nice.
Yeah. Well, there were like 4 different instances where like, oh, I don't know if you're for real. You're saying all the right stuff, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure they went through detailed background checks. Dr. Pepper, when she comes to the house, she probably checks closets for dead bodies or something. I don't know. Checks freezers for chopped up body parts, I would guess. I think you're okay.
Yeah, it's like these people, they trust the experts, but their families don't trust the experts. And then their families are getting this, 10 seconds on the screen, and they're trying to make every use of those seconds.
Felina, we're talking to you.
Yes.
In case you're watching this.
She has no business.
She's on her third 15 minutes of fame at this point.
I want to know, I need the Bachelor data girl to do a MAFS data. How many seconds of screen time has Felina gotten? And what were her Instagram followers before the season started? And where are we today? Because has it paid off?
And can she come up with a new routine? Because every time we see her, it's the same thing. Like, can she say something different?
No, she's just gonna be skeptical the whole time. Once you get past the answers,
this crazy. I don't trust this. 3 times.
A year into their marriage. This is crazy. You pageant girl.
She calling the producers like, do y'all need me to like do a Where Are They Now special? I still think this is crazy, and they shouldn't have done this. Can y'all come shoot me? I can say it again. I can say the line again if you want.
Kevin Frazier, I will pay you whatever the cost to have me on to talk about Eris. I need to be there.
If Felina is not on the reunion, she will drive to reunion and just crash it and be like, y'all didn't call me? Like, she has, if anyone is on this reunion, it has to be Felina.
If Eris doesn't show up, Felina will.
Yeah, exactly. Like if neither Eris or Jazz show, we have to get Felina on to like. I want her on the like kickoff special. I need her viewpoints on all future MAFS contestants. I need all her thoughts.
I'm good.
And she just says, "This is crazy." Every couple, like, do you have any other perspective, Felina?
Do you need her to create a MAFS podcast starting with next season, moving forward?
You know what?
That's what you sound like.
I would check it. I would check that out before I checked out Justin from last season's Men in Their Emotions podcast. Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. But welcome, y'all. I know we have that was the episode, really.
Listen, show shorten their time. We're shortening our time. That's it for y'all this week. Sure, you didn't expect that, just like you didn't expect the show to be 90 minutes. Let's break that down for a second before we get into everything. A lot of people were surprised that the show just kind of abruptly cut off after 90 minutes. Everyone was expecting a 2-hour episode. Show cuts off at 90 minutes, starts after party, right? This was a weird thing that we got the heads up, before the season started. They sent out a press release to I think it was like E! News or People or something like that. Okay, well, first of all, the press release said the show is going to expand into 90-minute episodes.
The last I checked, expand meant this.
Yeah. Stretch it out.
Go out, stretch it out, right?
Not condensing, which was what happened.
It's going to be reduced to 90 minutes.
Reduced. So which tells you the person that sent out that press release had no idea what MAFS was. They just got a paper from their boss that said MAFS is going to be 90 minutes now. Like, oh, okay. I assume
what's
the
the name of the
hour.
show again? Married?
Yeah, Married at First Sight. Are you sure that's the right word? That's the right title? I assume
the first
it's an hour
draft
show.
Had Love Is Blind.
Yeah.
No. It's Married at First Sight.
So we got the heads up that it was going to be 90 minutes, but maybe they didn't get the heads up over at whoever puts in the little thing on your TV guide, because my TV guide said Married at First Sight was 2 hours this week. No, Married at First Sight was 90 minutes, then After Party 30 minutes. It's just said Married at First Sight, this episode 2 hours.
It says it that way next week too.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's the way they're going to go moving forward, just include the After Party into the whole episode, because I am assuming that from here on out we're going to be doing 90-minute episodes. Maybe they in their mind threw us a bone by making the weddings 2 hours so we can get through them in 2 episodes. 3 episodes. Sorry, this is episode 4, not 3. I think I said 3 earlier. This is episode 4. Maybe they threw us a bone making the first 3 2 hours so we can get through the weddings. But I feel like from here on out, it's going to be 90-minute episode followed by After Party 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about it. I can appreciate an hour and a half. Lord knows we need less 2-hour shows out there, right? But as long as we're getting substance for that 1.5 hours, as we're gonna get into, I don't like the way they just sped through the getting to Jamaica as if maybe there really wasn't anything to talk about, but it just happened so fast. And I just want there to I don't want us to have to play a guessing game in terms of where the couples are, because we're getting that little of content.
I'm definitely okay with it. It's kind of a split opinion in the Facebook group, because I posted after the episode. So how we feeling about 90-minute episodes? Or people that were like, it was way too fast, it didn't have enough stuff in it. People that's like, okay, good, cut the filler. So as long as we're cutting filler, as long as we're cutting repetitiveness, which MAFS does a lot, they say the same things over and over again. For instance, I'm glad we didn't get the last 5 minutes of the last episode and the first 5 minutes of this episode, which is what they commonly do. We just kind of went right into everyone else getting into their bridal suites. We didn't see Chris and Nicole going back in the bridal suite again like we do in seasons past. So as long as we are cutting out the filler, cutting out the fluff, I feel like this episode did a good job at cutting out the fluff. We didn't get an overly packed segment of family and friends, which I appreciate it.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure, I know we have made a couple references to it. Make sure that you go and you join our Facebook group. Uh, Look up Perfect Match Podcast, and we are definitely having a great time in there talking. We talk about the episodes while they're on. We talk about just any MAFS news out there. So just all about the show, with no spoilers. So make sure you go join our Facebook group. This week, the password is
Pageant sister. You know, that's Felina's big put down to Jasmine. Oh, you're a pageant sister.
You are a pageant sister.
Yeah, I mean, Jasmine's like Jasmine's not really holding back too much on her thoughts of Felina. She's like, she's for you, but she's a little too much.
Right, exactly. But also make sure that you go and you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Look up Love at First Sight. That is our feed. So subscribe to our feed and then leave us a rating and review. Let us know how you're liking the podcast. A 5-star rating and a nice review, and we'll highlight it on the podcast. So definitely go out there, give us some love. We really appreciate it. We just want to know that y'all are listening and y'all are enjoying our content. And also, we are on YouTube this season. So if you want to go subscribe to the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel, please do that. And then you can get our videos along with all the other RHAP content as well. And so you can have a good time and comment in that YouTube video. But we really appreciate it if you check out the YouTube video or you check out the podcast, wherever you want to consume us, that's where you can.
Hey, I mean, if you like us so much, go crazy, go everywhere. Go to the YouTube, give us a little thumbs up on YouTube, give us a rating review on Apple Podcast, go to Spotify, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. Shout out to the Spotify people. We don't mention them enough. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. I can't review yet on Spotify, but hey, go do that too. If you like, I really like these people. Just go everywhere. Just go everywhere and give us all the good stuff. We love it.
Yes. And since we're on YouTube, I want to take some administrative stuff before we start with the episode review. So my amazing friend got me this. It says pepper and cinnamon, and it is them. This is exactly them. Like, couldn't be more accurate.
Are we sure that pepper and cinnamon are sisters? They look very different.
Well, this is baby cinnamon. So cinnamon does look a lot more like pepper these days. It's harder to tell them apart.
I want to take a DNA test. Something's not right.
Something's
not right. The math's not math.
I know the parents.
The math is not math. You want to make sure that mommy doggy didn't go to some other doghouse and something happened. I don't know.
They are siblings. They are very similar, but also very different. It's so funny how that works out. But I'm trying to figure out where to put it. So I think I'm gonna put it here, but then I might be hiding them.
Your head's blocking, right to your right. To your right.
Like this way?
No, other way. That's not your right. That's your left.
That is my right. I didn't know if you were like twisted around, like over here.
Yeah, like right there.
Okay.
It's like you're doing the podcast with pepper and cinnamon.
Yeah, okay. Off to the side might work, and then I'll put something there. It's a work in progress. But now that we're on video, I feel like I have to invest in this space. And this is my first contribution while the season is going on. But I just love it so much. I literally lit up. So
I feel like you're subtweeting my blank wall back here, and I got nothing on.
Last week, Jason had the same color shirt as his wall. He was just
looked like it was a floating head. Yeah, look like on a green screen, like like they do on the weather when the person on the weather has the same shirt on as like the screen, whatever. Right. It's just a floating head. That's what it looked like. Made sure I wore a black shirt today so you can see.
Okay, see who you are. Yeah. So I just wanted to shout out Beth because this gift is amazing and they just look so adorable. And I think it's just perfect for this space,
Pepper looks like an old man in that photo.
Who? Pepper does?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has her little old man mustache. But I just love them so much. I just have to say. Also, me and Bao have messaged back and forth a couple times. So if this is a follow-up from episode 2 with that amazing cameo that Jason got for me. So if something turns of it, or
I'm
becomes of
sure.
it, I will bring it up on the podcast.
I'm sure the restraining order is on its way. Post haste. She's like, I did not mean that. I just said something nice in the cameo, and now you're stalking me.
I'm playing it cool.
Not what I heard.
Oh my gosh.
Bao, when are we going to go walk our pets together, Bao? Bao, did you get my last message, Bao? I'm going to be at this park tomorrow, Bao. Are you going to be there?
I don't have a bone like that in my body. I come off creepy. Wow.
I feel like you stalked
learning
Zach.
things.
I feel like you stalked Zach at a club. I remember that.
That was a coincidence.
Oh,
I literally was there for my friend's birthday.
Oh, right. Yeah, your friend, right? Your friend's birthday. Yeah.
You just wish you have seen somebody. Who have you seen from MAFS?
Who have I seen from MAFS? I haven't seen anybody from MAFS because MAFS wouldn't dare come down to Baltimore. They don't are afraid of what they get if they did MAFS Baltimore. Okay,
that would be amazing.
That'd be so good.
Oh my gosh! When I hear Baltimore, I think of I can't think of the like typical Baltimore accent.
Oh my god, I can't even do one. Like I can't even. It's so.
You do Boston so well. You can't do Baltimore.
I can't. It's like a bunch of Huns and water ice, stuff like that. This the East Coast type of thing.
Yeah.
I've been here I'm not a Baltimore native, but I've been here like most of my life. I still cannot get the accent down. You get called dogs, Dougs, pepper cinnamon on your Dougs.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't want to do anymore because I'll get flamed for it.
Right. Well, let's get started. Which couple do you want to start with?
We're going to do Kirsten and Shaq. I'm still. Well, I'll talk about it. So Kirsten and Shaq.
Wait, you still think he's joking?
Well, listen, yeah, I was proven wrong. Okay.
It's like, no way, he's not Bilal.
But it's such bad time. We'll get it. They enter the bridal suite. Shaq, does the thing. He carries her over the threshold, and then they come in, sit down. She sits on his lap, and talk about how great a time they had, how their families mesh well together. He says the day he's always imagined. He's come in this wanting it to work. She gives this big he's like what's the problem? She says, yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I really do want this to work, and I want to continue to get to know. She is literally talking in the middle of her sentence. He goes, "Can I get a kiss?" What? She nervously laughs and just kind of stares at him for a second. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to wait, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to wait." Shaq, that was the wrong time. It feels like somebody told him, she wanted you to ask.
Yeah, her bridesmaids did tell him that she wanted him to ask. However, wouldn't have going to sleep, they've gotten ready for bed, they've been talking, wouldn't that have been a more opportune time to say, hey, we didn't get to kiss at the, make it a thing.
Yeah, anything other than interrupting her as she's talking, so can I get a kiss now? They said I had to ask. Shaq.
Right. Shaq. Now I asked, so
I'm on your side, Shaq. I'm on your side, Shaq. But you're doing a lot in the wrong way.
He's 2 steps away from those guys that are trying to hit on girls. Where my hug at?
Yeah. You're not gonna leave without no hug, right? Every time I see you, I can get a hug.
It's read the room a little bit. Sitting on the lap already are for him to think that's already progress.
That's big progress. I saw that. I was like, oh, okay, Kristen. We're softening up now. Okay.
He said, let's keep it going.
Yeah.
We already here.
Oh, Shaq. So yeah.
Oh, one more thing. Did you notice how there was already a bath run with petals?
Oh yeah.
There's no way that's warm.
Yeah, that's super cold. That's like an ice bath.
Who's using that?
You got to empty that tub and refill it back up because you can't get in that now. It's like room temperature water. Who wants that?
At that point, it's a waste.
Yeah, just for ambiance.
Yeah,
you just wasted water for nothing.
Right.
So yeah, she says, do you think she meant like you have to wait until like the cameras aren't here, like till we're in bed, or like you have to wait until I feel like you can kiss me?
I mean, we talked about in the Facebook group. There was someone who claims that they were a bridesmaid and was at the wedding and said that Kirsten and Shaq did kiss at the reception.
Yeah.
And like it just wasn't shown and it
I,
wasn't
I
going to be shown. I'm like, wait, how do you know what's going to be shown? They should have left that part out.
yeah, I don't know if I can trust the random stranger on the internet.
I mean, I went to her profile. She does live in Nashville. She is a Delta. We
Oh,
do
you did some
know.
research. Okay.
Are we not journalists?
We are. Hey, you got me. I haven't done my journalistic duty, but you picking up the slack for us.
You saw the screenshot. You said rando.
I did. I literally did.
I went to her profile. She is a Delta, or so she's a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, which is one of the historically Black sororities. And I was wondering what sorority Kirsten was in because I knew she was in a sorority because she has mentioned a line sister. I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, and so I was curious. I was like, is she an AKA? Is she? I don't know. That I don't see where, but I think she may be a Delta because if it checks out and this person was actually one of her bridesmaids, most likely she's a Delta.
You're getting catfished. We're all getting catfished.
You don't believe anything. First of all,
I'm a skeptic.
You should
at
stop
heart.
being a skeptic purely because you thought that he was joking about going to Jackson,
because
Mississippi.
It's so ridiculous that he brings it up at this moment of like they get the box like, oh, by the way, like in all your talking in the night before, it should have been brought up like, oh, by the way.
He was too busy trying to figure out the next time to ask her for a kiss.
Try to make his move. I see you pucker up. Is that a pucker? Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss? So yeah, he helps. So we get the thing. I need help out of my dress. He helps her out of the dress. All did it. It's a staple. Okay, it's just like the glass clinking. The getting out of the dress is a staple. Helps her out of the dress, and in a confessional, she says she really wants to ease into things, and a kiss could lead to other intimate things that may sidetrack them from getting to know each other. Okay, Kirsten. I don't. It's a kiss. I don't. It's not good. It's unlikely it's going to lead to something that big.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, that's your excuse for today. Shaq says he's not expecting sex and he's okay with that because he respects boundaries.
Yeah, for her to say like, I'm thinking that's going to lead to something else. It's just like there are levels. A peck at the altar is not going to lead to y'all immediately having sex.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he's asking for a big makeout session. He's asking for like anything.
Mm-hmm.
A peck on the lips, anything.
If it's episode 5 and we're hearing another excuse, she's just making up anything.
If they get to the honeymoon and there's no kiss at the honeymoon, that's big red flags.
Yeah, because I know some people need an emotional connection in order to be intimate with someone. But I guess I just haven't seen that many examples of people thinking like, okay, when I'm thinking of all terms of all intimacy, I'm including kissing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what her hang up is at this point, because their chemistry is really good. At the wedding, at the reception, it was good. And I don't know what exactly her thought process is right now, because I don't really believe that she's like, I don't want to kiss because it could lead to other things. Like, I think you can just kiss and call it a day. I think it'll be okay.
Right. Then it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. So yeah, they snuggle up in bed and turn out the light. I mean, they're snuggling in bed. Like, it's not like she's so put off that it's like, you can take the couch, I'll take the bed, or I'm going to put this pillow fort in between us. Like, they are like snuggled in bed.
Yeah, someone in the Facebook group pointed out that potentially she just doesn't want to kiss on camera.
I mean,
but if that were the case,
on a reality show, come on,
exactly.
Where you're gonna be married to somebody, and like kissing is like a commonplace thing on this show,
right? And I think that if it was like if it was a situation she didn't want to be on camera, they have been off camera plenty by this point, where I'm sure they're getting, unmiked, and she could tell him like, hey, just so you know, like, it's nothing with you. I just don't want to kiss on camera.
Yeah.
Perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, oh, I just haven't been able to tell him.
Hasn't been any time.
Right.
So the next morning we find out they talked all night until she fell asleep while he was talking.
I thought he said she fell asleep while she was talking. Like she
no,
fell asleep, like she was talking and she was just, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because she was dozing off and
Yeah.
she was trying to like respond.
Yeah.
But she ended up just out. In confessional, she says, it felt really comfortable sleeping next to him and they didn't feel like strangers, but they did not have sex. Still have a lot
I know what y'all are thinking.
We didn't think that.
We weren't thinking. Not a
You
single
won't even
person was thinking.
You won't even kiss the man. We didn't think you had sex that night. Like this.
Y'all are the only couple that I wasn't thinking that.
It didn't need to be said, Kirsten. Like we got the message. We got the idea already. She says she wants to have a lot more conversations to make both of them feel more comfortable before it gets to that level. They both talk about how wonderful the wedding was again and how they don't feel like strangers. He talks about how, it's like his Cinderella story and this is just the beginning of their story. They swap kind of.
If you, like, we're talking to you, right?
Uh-huh.
You're thinking that yesterday your wedding day was magical. What movie would you compare it to?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say this is my Cinderella story. What's a magical wedding? What's a good wedding from a guy perspective? I don't know if we really have that in a movie.
Right. You can't say like Best Man. It's
yeah. Wedding Crashers.
Dramatic. Right. It was so fun. It was like Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like compare myself to Cinderella in that type of thing. Maybe I'll call myself a Prince Eric. It's a Prince Eric story from Little Mermaid or something. The Prince Charming story. I don't know. It's odd how he really framed that.
Yeah, it was like like the way he reached for, because I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if anybody has ever compared it to like, that was like the only person I could think would think that would be Chris and Nicole. Like I could see them each separately saying it was just like Cinderella. But there were like many, I feel like for him to say this at this moment, he's definitely embellishing. And I'm like her friends. I want him to just talk genuinely, because when you start saying things are perfect or whatever, no, they weren't for you, because it would have been perfect had she kissed you at the altar, but now you're questioning things because she didn't. So no, it wasn't the perfect day.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to convince us that, he's like totally fine. This is just great. This is awesome. It doesn't matter my wife's not attracted to me and she's throwing me in the friend zone. Doesn't matter. It was great. I prefer it that way. Like he's so like dead set on telling us like, no, I like you to kiss me. I hope she never kisses me. Like I hope we go our whole lives. We're on deathbeds. That's the first time I get a kiss when I'm about to die, but she's at my side, at my deathbed. That'd be just fine. I would love that. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's a little much. He's putting it on. He's really putting it on. And the people that talk to him that are meeting him for the first couple times, they're like, this feels like a put on.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's something to that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I know we're going to get into it in a second, but I'm not surprised the way her friends are with him, because if I were Kirsten's friend, I would be the same way. If anybody is, you can tell when someone's just being genuine or they're just like, I keep having to reference Chris, but that's genuinely how Chris felt about the wedding
Chris is
day.
real. Chris is so desperate that this is just the best he could ever hope for. Like this woman, Nicole is a beautiful woman. Okay, beautiful. But I feel like they could have put anybody in front of Chris, and he'd have been like, fantastic. She didn't call me a piece of crap.
Yes,
like, fantastic. Like
right,
dream love of my life.
Right. That's what, like, I just feel. I just hope. I hope he doesn't put himself in a place where, we even see, and I didn't even think about this until this very moment. We see on the previews where she's like, I just need you to talk to me rather than talking at me. And I don't think she means it in like a harsh way. I feel like she means it in a he's talking like
the preview wants us to believe that he has been talking at her, not to her. Like, and that's why she's saying that. But I think that's just like laying out how you feel. I don't think he's done that yet, because it didn't sound like an argument.
No, I don't think he like, even I'm trying to like read through like the Frankenbite and just how she's saying it based on how he's been so far. Is I feel like what she could be referencing is I want us to talk, have a conversation, rather than him saying these things like, oh, yesterday was magical, this, that, da, 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 da.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
she
that's
wants
not
it to be genuine.
Yes.
Okay, I mean,
that's what I'm thinking, but it could be different.
Yeah, for sure. We the previews make us think all sorts of things, so we don't really.
Especially you.
Especially me. Excuse me. You're a journalist. I'm a detective. I try and parse through the previews, the press stuff to figure out what's going on. You be the journalist, I'll be the detective, and we'll get it all sorted out.
Right.
They swap nighttime routines. Like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I like to be really clean when I go to bed. He strikes me as the guy that's like washes his teeth every day, has to shower 3 times before he gets into bed. He strikes me as that guy. He says, I brush my teeth. I love my teeth. I have obsessed going to the dentist. And she admits to, sometimes I don't get to brush my teeth at night. That just happens. He's like, really? Gross. Right. You're disgusting.
He said, what the hell?
Yeah, what is this? What?
Is that really?
You are unclean. You are unclean.
He was caught off guard.
He gonna buy her some mints.
What he expected to hear.
No, he was like, how dare you?
Someone in the Facebook group had a theory that what if she said that so he could stop asking her to kiss him?
You know what? I don't think that's even that far. I don't even think that's that far fetched.
Oh my goodness. Ooh.
Okay, yeah. So it's time for the friends and family brunches. She meets up with his friend India and his uncle Derek. Do we ever see his mom or his dad at all?
Because we saw his grandma, but I think before the wedding, his grandma was the one that talked to him, but I don't think his mom or dad came out.
Yeah, interesting.
So, but then I thought they maybe showed them at the wedding. Maybe
they don't want to be on camera. It's okay.
Maybe, yeah.
So she talks to them about how great the night went, about how they talked all night. And her concern is that, will he have enough time for me? He's got a lot of stuff going on, and she wants to be supportive and understanding, but she doesn't want to get to a point where she is too understanding and supportive, where she is. The implication is that she doesn't want to be okay with being neglected, I guess, from him.
Which is fair. This is a fair concern. Yeah. This is how you communicate this concern. I have a bone to pick with Clint later, but
many bones to pick with Clint. So he meets up with what were the mix here with friends and sisters? I didn't really even catch this. This is all sisters.
One is her cousin, and I thought the other 2 were her friends.
Yeah, they do a great job of highlighting who was who.
So very quick.
Yeah, so one of them tells Shaq that she's concerned about him about how intentional he is about Kirsten, because Kirsten is coming into this process with a lot of intention. And I think what she didn't say, in our parlance, is like, you were recruited, you didn't apply. Like so, in our world, it's like, well, you weren't looking for this. This came to you. Like, someone came to you on like Instagram, was like, hey, we're a casting producer on Married at First Sight. You want to be on Married at First Sight? He did not apply, as it's implied that Kirsten did.
Has this been a thing before? Have you
I don't think it's been talked about in this way.
At least on the show, yeah.
Not on the show. I think behind the scenes, after some interviews, we find out later that people were recruited and didn't apply, but it's never been talked about on the show in this way.
Yeah.
And even here, it was talked about and it kind of wasn't. It was like kind of danced around. He said, yeah. Shaq says, that's true. I didn't really seek this out. And I saw all this stuff. I saw all the ads. I saw the billboards. Are there billboards for the advertising?
When he said billboards, I was like, Shaq,
Did you see any billboards in
is
Houston?
this 2005? What are they?
Who responds to
Now
billboards?
and I also don't live in Nashville, and maybe that's the way to go,
But you
in
didn't see it
certain
in
cities.
Houston when they were in Houston.
No, we have billboards for beer and seltzers and United Airlines. Never for we're casting this show. Plenty of
Yeah.
lawyer billboards. I just
Come
got
get married at
hit.com.
first sight.
Yeah. But no, we're casting for MAFS. I think because they don't have why pay for billboard space when you're going to get plenty of applicants?
Yeah, it's called the internet.
That's what I was like. I saw the ads and what?
And he says yes, but things just kept appearing to me, and it was a bunch of signs, and this fell into my lap, and it was ordained. So I mean, this you can see where it's like, okay, are you for real? Like what are you doing? So one of her other people says, so what if she doesn't warm up to you right away? What if you guys come back from the honeymoon and you guys aren't vibing? He says it's about learning each other, and we have to build a bond between the two of us. And this is where we get the confessional from one of the friends that says she's a little concerned that Shaq is just saying all the right things right now, and she's wondering if it's for real. Another friend tells him, she might start slow, but as long as you're consistent, she will bloom like a flower, and you are the driver. And how quickly that happens, how quickly she opens up to you. Did you think this was like a Kirsten being like, I'm not that into it? Could you tell him to like pump the brakes, stop asking me to kiss him abruptly every day?
I feel like she maybe because we've seen her be honest about the bald head, and maybe that she wasn't instantly attracted to him, but she did tell them that she had, likes what he has going on, and that has allowed her to see more about him. But I don't think she's fully out the door. I think she's been honest, but she's committed. She's ready to like see it through, and that's what she's communicated.
Yeah, I think she's in. I think she's in this. I think she's in this more than some other people in our this season are in this. I think she's there. They do meet back up after the family brunches, and he talks about your friends are next level. They really really put me under the heat lamp. She compliments.
I told you they were gonna be like that.
She talks about how his uncle's so sweet. And he talks about how his family hasn't really seen his silent struggles, and he has felt pressure from his family to be kind of the lead of the family, but it's they haven't seen him struggle alone. Kirsten asks, why couldn't you share that with your family? Like, what's going on? He says, it was about pride, it being a black man, not being able to show that type of emotion as a black man. Kirsten talks about, well, that's something they're going to have to both work on, and being open and transparent and vulnerable. Then they get their honeymoon box. Everyone gets the little box delivered to their door with all the little souvenirs, mementos, telling them where their honeymoon is going to be. So they're going through the box, seeing all the Jamaica flags, seeing all the swag they're getting with all the Mr. and Mrs. on it. And it's at this point where he feels it's prudent to let her know, hey, I have a presentation for school in Jackson, Mississippi. So we're not going to be able to go to the honeymoon, the same time the rest of the people go on the honeymoon. And you are going to be going with me to Jackson, Mississippi to go to class with me. First of all, I didn't like the way he was like, and you are going to go with me.
Right.
I was like, oh, she was telling her where
he already didn't ask to kiss. Now he's telling her where to go. Is she not her own woman? I'm kidding.
For real. So yeah, she is shocked to say the least.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, what? She's like, I already have to make sacrifices for you. It's the first day. I ever sacrificed a day on the beach.
Right.
And confess, she's like, are you serious with this? But all in all, I think she took it pretty well.
Yeah.
She says, you're gonna have a lot of making up to do for this. So I think she took it about as well as you can expect. I think some other participants in the past would have really like freaked out and like said something that maybe they would have regretted, but she took it pretty well.
Yeah, she could have easily like blamed it on him telling her in that moment, like, why didn't he tell me sooner? Is he not going to be honest with me? Like, turn it into something, because we've seen some delays and people have had different reactions. So it was Ben
Morgan
and
thought
Morgan.
that Morgan thought Ben was getting cold feet and that he didn't
Yeah.
really have COVID. Like,
Right. And then Michaela and Zach, where Michaela had her moment, but then she
Mhm.
eventually came around to caring that he had COVID.
yeah,
But I feel like she handled this well. Yes, she was annoyed in the moment because it was shocking information. She
Mhm.
thought she was about to go to Jamaica, but instead
for
she's going
real.
back to Mississippi.
Jack, what are you doing? Like, this is what I thought was a prank because this is like the worst time to bring this up. Like,
Yeah.
when she's so excited, you get the honeymoon box. Like, oh, by the way, like you could have told her at any point before that, like prepare her before this moment where she finds out where she's going. Like, check, I like you, guy, but you're doing some weird stuff here.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and it's just like I had guessed. They're just gonna leave from there to go to Jamaica. I just hope they're not too late to where they, like the other couples, have already established, some
Somebody
bonds.
bonded, yeah.
Yeah, because then I don't want them to be left. And of course they've bonded already with their side of people, or like the women with the women, the men with the men for the honeymoon or the bachelor, bachelorette, but don't want it to mess up the dynamic.
Yeah,
by them being late.
Yeah, so we do get a shot of Kirsten in a hotel room in Jackson, Mississippi, as the other couples are going to Jamaica. Going, well, I've been stuck here all day. I thought you were going with him. What happened?
I know.
So yeah, that's pretty much Kirsten and Shaq for this week.
Yeah, I mean, I like how she spun it. It was just like, you got a lot of making up to do. So that's, I mean, at least like it's like, okay, I'm not mad. Let's get through this and make up for this, and let's have fun in Jamaica. I mean, it probably was a situation where he had like maybe he had to hear other presentations, and then she was there for his.
Baby.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I really hope that I don't know. I'm so on the fence with Shaq.
You're on the fence.
Like, I feel like he has great intentions, but he may be lost in the say what you're supposed to say or say what you think you're supposed to say mindset, rather than just like, okay, I'm in this. Let me get to know Kirsten. Let her get to know me.
Yeah, I think we will get past that. I think this is still like a first impression type of thing where he wants to say the right things. But I think as they spend more time together, I think that will start to dissipate, and he will,
I hope
they'll say things that are real. He will say things that are real. Maybe she will too, because she hasn't told Jen like his bald head yet.
Right. But yeah, we are going to rate this season. Instead of doing a rating scale of 1 to 5, we're doing a 3-layered rating scale. Are they solid? Are they on thin ice? Or are they doomed? So last week you were at solid, and I was at on thin ice.
All right, so let's do the reveals.
All right.
2, 3.
All right.
Come
Jason,
on,
you still
Aysha.
think solid, and I'm on thin ice.
This is solid. This is a rock right here. I don't know if y'all can tell. This is a rock.
It looks like a loaf of bread.
Aysha.
Jason.
That was rude. Critiquing my artwork.
Like you said, you're
let me show off my art.
Investigator, not an artist.
This will be doomed, right? This is fire. This is fire right here.
Because we know we're not going to see doomed for you for anybody, so might as well show the paper now.
You're not wrong. This is on thin ice. This is a patch of ice right here. In case anyone was unaware. You see like a shine right here. These 2 lines are the shine on the ice.
Fresh ice.
Fresh ice. That's my artwork at work, people. So listen, solid because there's nothing has happened yet. Nothing catastrophic has happened. Nothing even bad has happened yet, really. Sure, she won't kiss him, but that's not on thin ice for me. They haven't had big problems yet.
And I literally am the exact same reason. Nothing has happened. And the only significant interactions I've seen with them have definitely given me friend vibes. And I have a feeling
She sat
that
on his
if
lap. That's not friend vibes.
I've never sat on a friend's lap.
You haven't? You have or you haven't?
It's not. That's not just. Oh, that's the deepest level of intimacy.
It's not the deepest level of intimacy, but I don't go around sitting on friends' laps like and putting my arm around them like, hey, like that was a sexy lap sit. Okay,
I
that
don't
wasn't a
know.
friend lap sit. That was a sexy lap sit.
I'm very afraid that this couple is going to get stuck in the friend zone.
I mean,
that's
certainly
my
possible.
hesitation.
That's certainly possible. But I feel like what I'm reading from her is that she is in this and that she's going to try.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's going to be
successful.
The next great love story, but she is trying. She's not disgusted. She's not like
repulsed.
going with the flow for 8 weeks to just get out of this. I feel like she actually is trying to make this work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they both have try in them.
But you're still on thin ice.
Yes.
Okay.
You could both want to try and not be solid.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool.
Where
are we going next, Aysha?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do Dom and Mac. Two people who like
are there.
They're there. They're honestly, truly. They are on the show.
Yeah, they are present. I can't say they're not there. They are there shooting scenes. Yeah. That's the best we can say for those two.
Right. So we start out
we did get some personality from Mac. It wasn't good personality, but we got some.
From After Party?
From After Party, yeah.
Okay. So Dominique and McKinley. So we start out with them sitting in their hotel room. Why do you think we didn't get them walking in? Did they do that in one of like the quick montages?
Yeah, because he was like, they were holding hands as they were approaching the door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we saw them enter the room.
Okay, because I was curious if they walked in like Jasmine and Eris, or
Jasmine
if he carried her
walked in like,
yeah.
Hey, this is just another place we're entering. Like, we'll talk about that when they get to it. But it's like,
okay,
here we are.
So I was like, okay, well now I need to be on the lookout to see if he carries her in. So they're sitting in the hotel room. Dominique asks if he snores. He's like, no. She's like, you pinky swear. He's like, I'm more notorious for sleeping or talking in my sleep. And which is a little scary. That's scary. Like if someone does it,
I've been told I talk
very
in my
confusing.
Sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
It
doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But I've been told I talk in my sleep.
Because what if someone talks in their sleep, but they are like they're actually talking, like you can't tell that they're asleep. I have friends like that.
You're not holding a conversation.
I have friends like that like I've heard that they have been able to have a conversation, woke up, had no idea what that was.
Well, listen, we have people that sleepwalk that do whole things like, go get something out of the refrigerator and eat it and don't have any memory of it the next day. So that doesn't surprise me. My assumption is that I'm like speaking out my dreams. Like that's what I think is happening when I sleep. When I talk in my sleep.
Yeah, that's funny. So he asked her if she snores, and she's like, no, I don't snore, but I do toss and turn. I do have a body pillow, which I brought.
We spend 3 minutes talking about her body pillow, talking about who snores and who doesn't. This is the type of next level like content that we are getting from Dom and Mac.
Yes. It was like very much so just preparing for going to sleep tonight, as opposed to, what makes you tick? What was your worst past relationship? As some couples got into.
Gosh.
So it's just like, yeah, you see kind of like the surface level conversation, and you're like, let's get let's get right to it type of conversation. And so she does her whole thing. She needs to get out of her dress. He helps her.
Did you check out the DreamWorks logo tattoo she has on her shoulder?
I did see that on her. Yeah, I did see on her shoulder, but I didn't. It was like the holding the umbrella.
No, it's the fisherman that sits on the moon that has the DreamWorks logo.
Could she get copyright for that?
I don't
I don't
know,
want to say it too loud. I don't
but
want them to hear,
but this old soul has the logo for the DreamWorks children's movie, studio on her shoulder. What an old soul.
right. Hey, an old soul can like animation.
That's true.
So we get a confessional from him. He's very excited. He said to pick her ear on certain things. He wants to be a gentleman and see what happens.
To pick her ear.
Right. We get a confessional from her, and she said she's not going to force anything. She doesn't run a rush anything. Just wants to see what happens. It's like, if they're both on a let's see what happens, that's just probably going to happen. While they're in bed, they're smiling a lot. They do kiss, and they say, like, we'll see you in the morning. They go into the covers, and that's when McKinley's like, all right, y'all, it's time for y'all to leave. Breaking that fourth wall. It's like, oh, wait, I forgot there were cameras in the room.
We just started having sex. You guys are just standing there.
So they wake up. He asks her how she slept. She says she slept good. We get a confessional from him where he said everything seemed really natural. They didn't have sex because he doesn't want to rush anything. He just wants her to be comfortable. So far, so good. So I was like, okay, I didn't expect anything else. I probably would have been very shocked that they did, because I was like, I don't feel like they know each other.
Yeah, even though he said it wasn't awkward, it gave awkward. Like,
to you. So here's my thing in their relationship. I do like Mike. I'm going in between Mac and McKinley. I do like Mac more than I thought I would. He seems very easygoing. He seems into this.
Unless you put him in somewhere other than the first class.
Right. He seems into this, but yeah, may have temper issues. We'll get in a second. But with Dom, still to this day, episode 4, I could not write a paragraph about her. I couldn't write a paragraph like, tell me about Dom.
You can't just write old soul for like 10 lines.
Just repeat.
I'm not getting anything from either of them. Like, I cannot discern what makes Mac.
Mm-hmm.
I can't discern what makes Dom. They're just kind of there. They're people.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing. And I know this show is different. This isn't Big Brother. This isn't Survivor. This isn't Drag Race, where somebody just needs to have this like amazing personality, right, to be on TV. Mm-hmm. I get that. These people are supposed to just be getting married, but they should still have like some sort of personality for their partner. They don't have to have like be this TV amazing person. I just want to know just more about her. And maybe they're getting that. Maybe they had really deep conversation late into the night before they went to sleep, and he really learned more about her. But I'm just having a really hard time getting to know her.
Yeah, well, I get that for both of them. I just don't. Everyone else on the cast, I feel like I know more about them. I don't know a lot about. I know Mac moved here recently. He lives with his best friend's parents for whatever reason. Dom's an old soul, but their interactions with each other just aren't giving me.
They're surface level.
Yeah, very surface level.
Very surface level. Neither one has depth that we've seen, which is really why I'm having a very hard time getting into this couple and getting invested in like wanting to see them succeed.
Yeah.
So we get their breakfast arrives. We have a confessional from her where she thinks he's sweet, and nice, and thoughtful, and she really thinks there is a connection there. They're talking, and he's like, "Are you a good cook?" And she's like, "Well, I live by myself, so I don't really cook that much, but I can cook." And she starts naming stuff like baked ziti, steak, like actual meals. So like, yeah. Okay, she was downplaying it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I got a freezer full of catfish that I caught and cleaned myself." And he's like, "I don't think I've ever had catfish."
I don't think I've had the pleasure of having catfish. Sounds like a peasant's food to me.
Oh gosh. So
The chefs that my mother employs has never cooked me catfish before. Oh,
he's like, what
interesting.
is that? Catfish?
Sounds like a dirty meal to me. Why would you want to eat a cat that's a fish? I don't understand.
I feel like there's going to be many more examples for you to pull that out impersonating Mac.
Listen, ever since we found out that mommy tried to bribe him with 50 grand not to go
That's
through
all
with
I
the
needed to
wedding,
hear.
I have a very interesting view of Mac. And something else that's going to happen pretty soon that we're going to get to tells me even more that Mac is about what Mac is.
Well, look, on After Party, that was the first time Dom had heard that his mom tried to pay him $50,000. She's like, oh, I didn't know that. But she's like, I get it.
Hey,
Like,
Dom was just trying to be nice. Dom was trying to get along to get along.
It was a very easy answer. Like, oh no, okay, yeah,
Oh,
makes sense.
interesting.
I would have said 50.
He should have took that.
Like, Rudy, play that back. 50,000.
He's a dummy.
Oh my goodness. So Mac met with her mom, aunt, and her granny. And so he tells them like he's happy, he's just eager to learn more. And her mom's like, we want to know more about you. Have you ever been married? Have you ever been engaged? He's like, never been married or engaged. His granny was like, how have you gotten away? There are so many women in Nashville who are eager for men.
No, she said hungry for men. They are hungry for men. But Granny was like, how'd you get away, sweetheart? Like, she is like, Granny is very complimentary of Mac. Like, how did you get away? What's wrong with you? Why are you still single?
Yeah, she sees him as a catch. He said he's had a few serious relationships, it's never worked out. And they're like, okay, her aunt said, have you dated someone of a different race? And this is at this point the third time that this has been brought up.
And Mac has a stock answer. Because this answer that he told them is the exact same thing that he told Rudy on After Party. The exact same thing.
Exactly.
Word for word.
So, okay. So let's get into that. So his answer was, I've dated mostly white and Latino. I've been on some dates with some Black women. I just haven't had much luck on that end, is what he said. And, okay, that's his answer, right? Mm-hmm. But if this is... this is very important to know at this point. But it's also, if this is such a big concern, why wasn't Dom going through the casting process similar to Eris saying, I need a Black king?
Yeah, I think all four of our Black, like, I mean, not all four because Dom is Black too, but Eris, Jasmine, Kirsten, and Shaq, you get the feeling that they're like, thing was like, only Black people, please. Like, that's it.
I'm sure you give you give your racial preference of like and it could be based on who you've dated in the past, or
just some more than others feel like, okay, I will not take anything other than this race. It feels, because I remember Kirsten saying something about her Black king before the wedding. Like, that she wanted a Black king or whatever.
And she knew, she was confident enough, probably because of what she has expressed to the experts.
Yeah.
That's what she was going to get, because she's like, there's no way they would flip off of that.
And Felina referenced to Eris how he's going to treat his Black queen, because she knew that he was going to get a Black woman. I just wonder if it was a thing with Dom and like her mom, that Dom was like, no, I don't care. And mom was like, you need to ask for a Black guy. Like, and maybe now it's like, oh crap, she didn't ask for a Black guy. So it's like, now we got this white guy. What are you going to do? Like,
right. I just feel like either don't do Married at First Sight, because that is a very strong possibility.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I wonder, is it going to come up again now that the family and friends won't be a part of it? I'm thinking. Last season we had a lot of family and friends.
Listen, it seems like it might even be an issue for a very long for that much longer.
I mean, based on the previews, like that scene that we can keep getting of Dom walking with the box as if she's walking out of an office, that could happen week
After the
6.
honeymoon. No, I think it happens right after the honeymoon.
I mean, I'm thinking that too, but it could. I mean, like I'm predicting it's going to happen after the honeymoon, but it could happen later.
It could, for sure. And they could be tricking us again because that season preview, we had almost nothing of Dom and Mac. And somebody pointed out we had no shots of them at decision day. We got shots of everybody else at decision day, but they have tricked us before because I think it was Michael and Jasmina on the season preview that did not have a decision day, and we got them on decision day. So that could be fault misleading. I feel like half of our conjecture about Married First Sight is how they're tricking us.
Right.
But so it could be
anything. They even tricked me during the commercials on this episode by saying next week Married at First Sight premieres on Wednesday.
Right, because Married First Sight could not get their crap together.
I was confused.
But it feels like we got most of their bad stuff in the honeymoon phase. And I think when Pastor Cal does his little right after the honeymoon visit, I think that's when it's going to be over. That's my prediction.
That Pastor Cal clip. You lied, but I don't know if who it's with or whatever. Right. But yeah, this is just becoming a very relevant topic for them about him dating. I mean,
brought up by her mom. Like it's all brought up by her mom.
So it's just very interesting because it obviously seems to be a bigger hang up, even though her mom is married to a white guy right now.
Well, like, and maybe that's how she knows that
it could be an issue. Yeah. So then we get Dom is meeting with his mom, his sister, and his best friend, Taylor. And so Dom says like she was like, y'all said Mac was shy, but I haven't seen his shy side. And they're like, oh, that's good. That means he's comfortable with you. She's like, yeah, he's a little sassy.
So sassy.
Is he sassy? Or is he just Mac? It's like the man, the myth, the legend. And then it's just Kyle.
The sassy king, Mac himself.
Yes. She says her expectations have been exceeded. She talked about they asked her like, how'd you get into this? She says her mom signed her up initially. And she's like, she just doesn't see a world where this doesn't work out as long as her partner is as committed as she is. And his mom's like, well, I found this to be nuts.
Listen, we have 15 seasons of evidence of how this isn't going to work out. So, and they all say they're as committed as you, Dom. They all say that.
Yes, that's not all you need in the situation. You can come in here as committed as you want to be.
Right.
And that does not mean it's going to work out. So we get a confessional of his mom and his sister. And she's like, we've only known her for 5 minutes. That's pretty much all they say. They ask her like, okay, because Mac is from Michigan. They're like, what are you going to do if he wants to up and move back to Michigan? She's like, oh, well, that would be tough because that's really far. And my mom lives an hour and a half away. And for them to say that means that they potentially want it. And they probably thought like, okay, this is Mac doing his own thing, going to Nashville for a little bit. He'll come back and settle down.
Yeah.
Do you think if what we're being sold is just not true and they do end up like going through the whole experiment, do you think that is going to be an issue? Like, are those going to be their two issues, race and moving back to Michigan?
I don't see the Michigan thing being that big of a deal. I think if Dom comes back to Mac and she's like, yeah, your family seem like really like hung up on the fact you might be moving back to Michigan, he's probably like, don't worry about that. That's not even a thing. That's what they want. It's not really what I want. I'm good with staying here because he did say he wants to put on roots in Nashville. I feel like this is mostly just the mom's hope that her son will come back home.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, because it's like my mom has hopes that I'll come back to Dallas. Like, Mom, I have now planted roots in Houston, and it's only a 3-hour drive. So
Bao was here. I can't leave Bao.
Yeah, I know. I have a friendship to develop with Bao. I cannot do that from Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to meet up with Mia in Dallas.
Yeah, I can't do that. I might get arrested while I'm in her company.
Oh my gosh. That makes me want to go look her up. I wonder how she's doing.
You might be disappointed. I don't know.
I want to look them all up.
Let's do a new Where Are They Now special with everybody.
Here's my TikTok reference of the podcast. There's this TikTok sound that's like, where are you from? Matter of fact, where are you all from? That's what I felt like. I'm going to look up Mia. Matter of fact, I'm going to look them all up.
You're going to look at the most random MAFS participants that no one even remembers.
Yeah.
You're going to go to that other Jasmine that somebody posted in the Facebook group that has having twins from, I forgot what season she's from. It was like 8 or something.
From Charlotte.
Yeah, it's always like, who's that? Like, where do
I know her from? We went to high school together.
Who was she again?
I mean, they crank out the season so fast, but I know them. It's just like for example, like The Circle. I can tell you I was on season 2, 3, and I've watched them all. But
the people from this season are fading from my mind already.
Day by day, I only remember Raven and Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
So with Dom and Mac, let's go ahead and rate them. Last week, you said that they were solid. I said that they were doomed.
Doomed.
I know.
They barely met. You said they were doomed.
I blame Dom. But let's go ahead and rate them this week. All right. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Jason still says solid. I've gone up to on thin ice.
Spoiler alert. Everyone's going to be solid for me. Okay.
Everyone?
Yeah. Nothing has happened. None of these people have barely interacted. Okay. Everyone is still goo goo gaga for everybody. Everyone's still like, oh, they're so great. They're so fantastic. Everything's going so great. And then you have
to see through that. That's your job.
You're reading too much into previews.
Someone walks up to you and they say they're innocent. You're just like, oh, yeah, okay.
But I have to go off what I have. I cannot go on circumstantial evidence. I cannot go on fake edited previews that I get. Okay. I have to go on what I have in front of me. I have to go on with the evidence I have being presented in my face at the moment. You are doom casting. You are future casting these people's demise.
No, you know how I'm not? Because this week I'm on thin ice for them. Now
what has happened what has gotten you from doom to thin ice?
So for one, I've seen them interact more. Where now I see that they're the skepticism, that's their families. When you look at just them two, they're both, which I could tell that about Dom, and I wasn't sure about Mac, but now I see they're both okay being on the surface. There are some people that we don't need to dig deep. We can have fun with what we're doing right now.
Until somebody starts to scratch at that surface.
Exactly. It's not sustainable.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't done it yet.
Exactly. So but you know that's not sustainable.
We don't know that. They could scratch the surface and find out they like each other still under the surface. That's what I'm saying. I have to work with what I got.
But look at who we're talking about. You think Dom and Mac are solid as a couple.
At this moment, they are friendly. They like each other. Like, at this moment, they are solid. I know within 2 weeks, I'm going to be doomed. I know that. I can't like go there now. They are friendly to each other. They have nothing but glowing reviews of the other person. They're solid right now.
I'm just ready for them to be real.
When they get real, I will rate them the way that they should be rated. Right. But they're not real yet. Everyone is literally in the honeymoon phase, which is the hours after they get married, which isn't even the honeymoon. The honeymoon phase is where things get bad. Like,
yeah, I was about to say, which ironically, the honeymoon phase is where they will get real. So that'll be great.
That's where the real ratings will shine through.
Right. All right. Next couple.
All right, Eris and Jasmine. So we get the big entry of the bridal suite. Everyone else is picking up their brides. walking them over the threshold. Almost everybody. We get Eris and Jasmine. It's like, yep, there you go. Walk on in.
Boop boop. Walk in.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Go. Okay.
Ladies first. Go ahead. They sit down. They both say how they're so happy how things have turned out. He is thankful for her and the experts. We get the helping out of the dress. And in the confessional, she says, they have great chemistry so far. She does feel a little, vulnerable being more natural with no makeup and in her pajamas. In his confessional, he says he is excited to lay next to his wife, but he's tired and he hopes that she is too. But if she has other plans, he could probably muster some energy in case things get a little extracurricular in the bedroom. Now she comes. Eris is freak nasty. Okay. Now she comes to bed in this what would you call this? It's like a 90. Is this a?
Is this the right word? Let me look it up before I say it. It's a little. Okay. Clearly, I don't know how to spell.
Walk us through your thought process. What do you?
Okay, this is correct. It's like negligee, which technically is like it. What I'm seeing here is like negligee is technically see through, or it's just a sheer in long.
I hope you're incognito while researching this stuff out.
That's like the Wikipedia definition, so there's nothing revealing there.
Yeah, so she comes out in this negligee, which is like pretty spicy, I think. But she does have like a little robe on. She's like, let's not get too crazy. So she gets in bed. He's like, it's like that. He tells everybody, okay, y'all gotta leave now. Then this is a lot. He says he loves it. They cuddle up in bed. They start to kiss, and that is their night. The next morning, they quote unquote wake up in bed as if they are waking up with a whole camera crew just staring at them.
Producer, like five other people in the room.
Yeah. And she tells them, I'm glad you were still here when I woke up. In his confessional, he says it felt natural to sleep in bed with her, and she fell asleep on his chest, and no sex happened. It was just cuddling.
He also asked her to rate his cuddle game.
He is big with the ratings.
She says a 9.
Yeah, he's like, I get to a 10. They have breakfast. He comments on the swine that she's eating for breakfast. And he talks about how much he misses having bacon, but he does still love the smell. Still no confirmation on why he doesn't eat bacon or pork or chicken. Yeah.
And that's so, like, if I'm about to eat bacon, I don't need the constant reminder that it's a pig. So just say
eating your bacon over there.
Right. It's like, first, that was like the equivalent of like if you're eating and someone's like, ugh, that looks gross. First of all, you're not eating it. So don't
like throw up. Why are you eating that?
I can lose my appetite in a second. And so I don't need that negativity about what I'm eating. Save your comments and opinions about what I'm eating for later. Let me enjoy.
This is another reason why they are mismatched. So she asks him if he's looking forward to meeting her family. We find out that he is going to meet with her. He's going to wait a minute. I'm sorry. I don't know where I am. He's meeting with the brother and the father, and she says that their approval is the most important for her. He talks to her about meeting up with his mom and with Fal, which is like a lot of times we have now shortened Felicia's name to Fal, which sounds like Val. I was like, okay. And he says, that might be difficult, but he's really hoping that that Fal is more accepting and that he really wants her in their lives. So the meetings happen. He meets up with her father, her mother, and her brother. They kind of razz him a little bit for being an only child. He's like, yeah, well, at least I don't have to share any showers. He asked if, so what is she like? Is she organized? Is she messy? That says, well, it depends on what you're talking about. She says, when she's doing the cheerleading stuff, she's like a drill sergeant. But in other aspects, she's kind of messy. I don't think if that's what Eris was asking. It's like,
Right?
I think he was literally asking, like, is she going to leave her crap all over the place? Or, like,
Yeah, definitely what he was asking. Because didn't he ask her? I'm trying to find it. He asked her, like, bridesmaids. Oh, he asked, was she a good communicator? Um, it's like he has this like checklist. Like, okay, I know she needs to be able to communicate. I want her to be organized. I want her to, cater to me when I ask for grapes.
yeah,
And it's like he
give
asks
me
these
grapes.
very, these very specific questions rather than like, okay, tell me about Jasmine. Like, in order for them to just freestyle like an open-ended type of thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's got questions
yes or
on note
no.
cards that he has
Yeah.
to like. It's like, next question is
Who was that had a bunch of questions? Jose had all these questions.
Jose.
Yeah.
So she the mom, her mom says, the first year is really about learning about each other. Dad says it's important that you let each other be yourselves. You have to be yourself. And he's counting on Eris to be the manly figure in her life now that she's married. Jasmine meets up with Eris's mom and two of his cousins, including Felina. Jasmine says it felt real as soon as she walked down the aisle. Felina says, "Oh, I think you're crazy." Like, no one asked you. No one asked you, Felina. Do you think this is crazy or not? She just come out right out with her catchphrase. This is crazy.
She did not need to be there.
Well, she had to be there. And does Eris's mother speak? I don't think we've.
That's what
ever
was like. Give his.
I heard her speak.
Give his mom a chance to ask some questions.
Mom trying to speak. Felina says, "Have I told you this is crazy?" Sorry to interrupt you, Auntie, but I gotta tell him it's crazy. This is crazy.
Literally,
right?
was like a one-on-one.
Yeah. In a confessional, one of the producers asks Felina in a continuation of her 15 minutes, so what do you think of Eris's new wife? She laughs hysterically. Has to take a moment to walk out of frame. She's laughing so hard. She says, "Oh, it's funny that you called her his wife. It's unbelievable." Like,
at this point, I'm fully expecting them to show up in Jamaica. They're on their romantic dinner. Felina shows up. Are you? You're actually acting like you're on a honeymoon.
You're still doing this? This is still going on?
Let this bit go.
Have you not taken my advice? Have I told you this is crazy?
She like grabs the clipboard out of the producer's hand. You're really sitting here watching them have dinner like this is a real marriage?
These are real cameras. This is a real show?
She like looks at the camera. Turn the camera off.
This is not a real marriage.
It's like
she has booked a flight to Jamaica right now. Erisha, come with me. Let's go. Get in the car.
She's actually gonna be Shaq and Kirsten there.
Yeah.
She gonna make it there before they do. Oh goodness.
Enough of this foolishness now, Eris. Come back home. I've dealt with this long enough.
Right.
So Felina says, so why is it important that you got married right now? Like, what about right now is so important for you to have to get married? Jasmine says, the only thing that was missing in her life was her person and the desire to start a family. Like, that's what she wants right now. Everything else is great. She wants her person and to start her family. Jasmine talks about how Felina getting into her Felina-ness says, so what's going on with your past relationships? How long ago were you in a relationship? Jasmine says, well, I did live with an ex 7 months, but that relationship ended 7 months ago. Felina says, that's pretty fresh. Are you sure that you're done with that situation? Fresh. 7 months is a minute, right?
That's significant. Like, I would say the move on period is around 4 months where you're like, okay, I think I've grieved that relationship long enough.
I said 7 months.
Fresh. For a dating relationship, yeah.
I don't think so. I think you've moved on pretty well past that. And Jasmine agrees. She's like, yeah, it's definitely fresh. More pageant answers. Agree with the person that's speaking to you.
No, because Jasmine was like, well, actually you move on before the
Right.
relationship is over because
But the
it's
first thing,
about to end.
right? But the first thing she said, well, yeah, it is fresh, but like,
Yeah.
she does that thing where like it's the politician answer, like you agree with, but then you explain your side. So yeah, she does say that yes, the relationship ended 7 months ago, but that's like a timestamp. It really was over well before that, because you know how it is when you end a relationship. It was probably over well before you actually ended it. I did think it was funny on After Party where Eris is on After Party and Rudy's talking to Eris about what Jasmine said. He's like, well, when I said that, you were grilling me. Like it was a problem when I said it. And that's not even what he said. Rudy asked him if he was faithful. He said 90% of the time.
Literally.
And he uses that as a comparable thing to what Jasmine just said, where she says it was over before it was over. She didn't say she was cheating on the guy.
Right. She
Like,
says she has moved on now that was 7 months ago.
Right.
Whereas he's trying to justify the 10% of unfaithfulness.
yeah, I cheated on her, but we were already pretty much broken up at that point. We didn't make it official, but we were pretty much broken up. In my eyes, the relationship was over. So I went in and cheated. She's not
And
saying
I
she
love
cheated.
that they showed the flashback
Yeah,
of him
yeah.
saying that on
Hold
After
him
Party.
accountable. Hold him accountable. So you know, to this whole thing where Jazz says, you know, it was over before it actually over. Felina said, you just got an answer for everything. You're just a pageant sister. Pageant sister. Okay.
What is she? So you keep going. This is in response to everything she said.
So Felina says, you know, in the pageant world that we see on TV, it's portrayed that you already would have answers, you know, ready for whatever I asked you. Felina says, usually people can't answer questions like this. It's so fast. And it's weird that she's so ready. And she tells her, you know, this is a huge step, but you really need to be thinking about the obstacles coming up. But I'm praying it works out for you.
Keep your prayers, because you don't mean that after
Keep
everything
your thoughts
you just said.
and your prayers to yourself.
Exactly. But it's not that she's a pageant girl that Felina has an issue with. That's easy to say. It's her confidence that Felina has an issue with. All she's doing is confidently responding to these questions that she has. She's not trying to,
with perfectly sane, reasonable answers.
yeah, she's being honest. She's not trying to be politically correct. She's talked about how she has her own issues to work on. She is giving her honest answers about how she feels, but Felina has an issue with it.
Oh, those answers are just too good. Those answers are too good. Like you got an earpiece in or something.
Like,
somebody
you want her to
feed you this?
Right? You have you got an earpiece in your ear.
Yeah. You can't be this good at answering questions. Something's up. Something's going on.
Like,
something fishy here.
Like she's just asking the world's hardest questions.
Yeah.
Like this is some quiz that she's just, she said words back to me. How does she have words to say? How does she think about something to say back to me?
How is she just not looking at me dumbfounded over these questions I asked her? Like I feel like these questions should stump a regular person, but this pageant sister over here, she's got all the answers.
Like, what do you want her shaking in her boots? Because had she not have an answer, she's like, oh, well, I don't know.
She don't know what to say. Look at her. She don't know what to say.
Look, she.
You want to marry my cousin? You know how to answer a simple question.
She literally would say she's not ready. She's not confident in herself. She doesn't know what to say. She can't even answer my simple questions. But she has an answer. How do you have an answer? Okay, I'm gonna pray for y'all, but
because this ain't gonna end well. But I'm gonna pray for y'all.
You can't be answering everything. This is not gonna work out.
I'm so mad you answered my questions to a T. It's terrible.
Like, I didn't know it was rhetorical. Am I not supposed to answer? Oh, that was annoying.
Felina, wow, you really got me with those questions. I'm really rethinking this now. Thank you so much for, for making me aware of these issues that I should be thinking about. I think maybe it's best if we just annul the marriage that happened yesterday. Thank you so much for shining a light on my inefficiencies and things I need to work on. I think I'll just let your cousin be. That's what Felina wanted. That would be a pageant answer.
Exactly. Because just, oh my, I just thought about, they gotta have the housewarming party.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see Felina a minimum of 5 more times when this season's over. Okay,
Eris
a
didn't
minimum.
get cast on Married at First Sight. It was Felina.
Felina came with him to the casting call, and it was like, we gotta get Felina on TV. We'll cast Eris, but she has to be on with him. When
God.
Pastor Cal comes after the honeymoon, Felina gonna be following right behind him. Like,
She should have signed up herself. Is she
maybe she's
single?
married. I don't know. Maybe she's married.
I think if she would, I don't know. Maybe she could be married. I would imagine she would.
Well, I mean, she disapproves of
coming
this
from the-
process very highly, so she wouldn't do it herself.
Yeah, well, I think I would feel like she'd come from the like, I'm married and I know what I'm talking about. Marriage is not easy. You think it's easy? Marriage is not.
No, I think it's much better if she's horrible at relationships, if she's giving this advice about relationships. I think that is much funnier and much better for my enjoyment of this perspective of someone that doesn't know what they're talking about.
That hit, yeah, I was about to say that hits too close to home.
No.
I'm single. These people don't know what marriage is. Okay?
Marriage is tough. Take it from me. I haven't done it yet.
Marriage is hard.
Just
Thinking
getting
about
married
children
is
is hard. Meanwhile, I'm like,
my babies.
these are my children.
Dog mom.
Right.
Hashtag dog mom.
Right. I'm just a journalist.
Yeah, I'm the investigator. Leave the investigating to me and to knowing how hard marriage is. Because I have investigated for 10 years. Okay.
You've been
Did my
undercover.
research.
Yeah. You've been on the field.
Yeah. But out there on my missions, find out how hard marriage is. Just for this podcast. Yes. I knew 10 years ago that I'd be here.
It was all leading up to, hey, Married at First Sight premiered in 2013 or 2014.
That's how much in the future I can see. So innovative I am.
Yeah.
I saw this moment coming.
You're right.
Yeah, so okay. After all that, after our Felina tangent for the last 10 minutes, they meet back up after the family brunches. She lets Eris know, your cousins are very protective. Fal told me that I am too poised and too put together. And she is really for you, is what she says to Eris. And she's gonna say it like it is.
That's the nicest way to put that.
Yeah,
she is for you.
In more ways than one, maybe. I don't know. And she says it like it is, but she says, I feel like I'm being true and authentic, and that's really all that matters. Eris says, yeah, I'm not surprised that she's being this protective. And she's being a little hard on Jasmine, but he hopes that their relationship will get better over time. She says that, we have our families, they're very protective, they love us, but it's really just us in this marriage, and it's up to us. She leaves him in the hotel room to go get her hair braided for their trip to Jamaica.
That was very ambitious of her. I don't know that I would book a braiding appointment in between a wedding day and leaving for the honeymoon.
I think Katina did that.
She did.
Yeah.
So did Brianna. I'm always impressed because it's just like they're strategic about that. They're like, okay, I don't want my hair to be braided for the wedding, but I will get it done so I can be swimming and doing everything else I want to do on the honeymoon. But so I thought it was funny. She leaves for her braiding appointment. There is a lower third on the screen that says 4 hours later.
4 hours later.
But then it cuts to like Dom and Mac. Like, oh, we got something at the door. We're finding out where we're going on honeymoon. I was like, was that Montre was the executive producer? The only reason, and I've said this before, the only reason I know Montre's name is from season 10 when
Montre.
She was so mad.
You see this, Montre? You want me to do with this?
You're trying to lie to me.
You're lying again.
That was iconic. Oh my gosh. That was the best breaking of the fourth wall. Oh my, she just couldn't take it anymore. Michael's lying was just outrageous. That's okay. Y'all could look, if y'all have not seen season 10, go Google, go to YouTube and type in Mika Michael and then I think salary. And I'm sure you will find it. And it's just peak MAFS.
If you haven't seen season 10, go watch the whole season. See, like we talked,
That
season
too.
10 is our top rate. No, was season 10 or 11 our top rated season? 11 was our top rated season, I
11
think.
because of the success.
Yeah, 10 was high up there though.
Yes.
You're looking for drama, you're looking for mess. Season 10 is where it's at.
That is
Go to season 10 if you're looking. Don't go to season 10 if you're looking for love. There's a couple that did well, but go to season 10 if you're looking for mess, like because that's where you'll find it. Just the lies in and of itself by this one man is enough to watch this whole season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so I bring up Montre because for them to include 4 hours later, are they trying to say it took her 4 hours? If so, impressive because they just look like box braids. So she had to have at least 2 or 3 braiders in order to finish in 4 hours. I have been seeing some braiders on TikTok who are advertising how fast they are single-handedly. Props to them. This is coming from somebody who has gotten their hair braided before and it took 12 hours. I kid you not.
Not consecutively.
12. Yeah, what do you think? I left and came back? No.
I don't
12
know.
hours sitting in the chair from like it was 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. I was so annoyed.
Why would you do that?
To get my hair done.
Man, the dedication is amazing. I love it.
Yes, but now I don't have that problem because I have locks. So
there you go.
There we go.
All right, time for the controversial segment of our program. I can't wait for this reveal. One.
Wait. Let me regroup. Who are we talking about?
Jasmine and Aris. Jasmine and Aris.
Okay. Oh, okay. Last week we were Jasmine and Aris. Last week we were both on thin ice.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, we were.
I had to be solid. I was solid.
No, you were. No, you were on thin ice. They were them, and you were. They were the only couple. They were the only couple. You were on thin ice.
Why did I think thin ice? I don't remember.
Because of Aris. What do you mean?
I mean, he's weird, but anyway, one.
It's not even weird. It's like, will that work out with his focus? What his focus?
But my whole thing is like not seeing in the future. Is go on the now.
I know you did. You said on thin ice. Run the tapes. Okay.
Producer.
Montre.
Montre. He lied. He said thin ice. I know he did.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. Jason has solid. I have on thin ice.
What is your reasoning for thin ice?
Because of Aris. I think that Jasmine right now is all in. And I believe he is his version of all in. But I think that they're not going to mean the same thing.
And Aris, I'm gonna need you to like eat an energy bar or something. I'm gonna need a little more from you, my friend, because he is so one note in his like energy and his like enthusiasm. Yeah, I guess
maybe he's just tired.
Yeah, everything's pretty good. Yep, no complaints. I'm feeling real good. I'm pretty tired, but if she's got the energy, I can muster something up. Oh, you look really great coming in here with that nightie on. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need some excitement from you, Aris. I don't see anything yet.
What makes you solid?
Nothing's happened. They like each other. That's it. No. I mean, listen. If we had like a Chris and Alyssa, they would be doomed, right? Like, they were doomed, like from first day.
Yes.
But just nothing is happening. Like they are interacting and they're having a good time. So as of right now, they're solid.
Okay.
Maybe next week when he starts getting more freaky deaky and asking her about sex positions, I can change my rating. We'll see.
Especially with how her reaction is.
Yes, for sure.
Like her reaction will say everything.
And he was already saying pervy stuff like when they were on the way to the airport.
Someone go ahead.
And she was looking at him like, what? Talking about?
that someone in the Facebook group put a picture of Eris and Dom side by side and said this would have been the match. And
well,
I
think
agree.
they were talking about the vibes from After Party, because Dom was like really like, she was like positioned toward him. She was like really interested in what he was saying, and there were like there's some vibes exchange.
See, I read deeper into that. I was thinking like, yeah, I could actually see them working out.
But why? Like, Dom is just so blank to me.
Eris is what? Just spectacular?
No, I mean, but he at least has like weird pervert vibes.
And I think she'd be down.
What makes you think that? She's giving us nothing.
She loves a good GNO. Did you see her at the bachelorette party?
A GNO.
Yeah, no, her words, not mine. I'd never call it that. But we didn't talk about it. We've moved on, but we never talked about Mac's situation.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it later, because we're going to get into like a little parts of everyone going on their way to the honeymoon. We can get into it there.
Okay, cool. So next, let's talk about Clint and Gina.
Clint is just like, Clint's like the embodiment of like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it though.
He's like you. That picture you posted in the Facebook group was golden.
Oh gosh.
Just wanting to have his confidence. Yes, that's the goal in life.
And somebody in the Facebook group, not me, okay, I want to defend myself. I did not say this, but I did post the picture of Clint. It's just a still picture shot from like on the TV screen. In his moment where he says, "I'm definitely at sexual prime." It's, closed captioning on the bottom, and he's just shirtless with his weird hairy chest, which someone pointed out. Why is his hair in the pattern of a tank top on his chest?
On purpose.
Weird red chest, like chest and neck area. Wonderful blue eyes, though. I will say, Clint, those eyes.
They were popping in that specific shot.
Yes, someone did say, Lord grant me the confidence of a mediocre white man. Specifically this one. I did not say that. Alicia Michelle said that. I did not say that.
That is a good one.
I thought it was funny.
Oh gosh.
Because I did post that picture. I said, you can't buy this self-confidence. Like this, this is a special brand of self-confidence.
I just hit my move goal with this podcast. So
look at you.
There we go.
This goal's getting hit.
Right. So Clint and Gina.
Yes, Clint and Gina.
He carried her over the threshold. They sit on the bed and they kiss. So I was like, okay, the vibes are there. They're right now, they are connecting. He said he was excited about today. Their families melded. She expected it to be awkward, but then there was no awkwardness. Everything worked. We get a confessional from her saying like he's peaceful, he's easygoing, he's comforting, he's easier on the eyes. He can calm a room down, but also liven it up.
That's quite an interesting thing to describe somebody like.
Right. It's very specific. Like she's thought about this today. He does like a toast. He's excited for what tomorrow's gonna bring. And so she asked him to unbutton her dress. He does it. We get a confessional from him where he was like, her back being exposed, like it's all out there, like the physical attraction is there, and I'm very excited to explore that.
Sir, calm down.
Right?
That made me get the hose on you.
Right. He's very excited. In the bathroom, because every bride and groom, the groom stays in the bedroom. The bride takes off her makeup and stuff in the bathroom. So we kind of hear both sides of it. And so while she's in the bathroom, she says she feels like things are falling into place. And she's like, their kisses are very sensual. She said he's sexy. And she said it was a 12 out of 10 day. And she is
I thought she called him a 12 out of 10.
Oh, I thought she said it was a 12 out of 10 day.
I thought she called him that. But yours makes more sense because what?
1 plus 1 does not equal 2. And so she is super excited to go to bed with her husband.
Hey.
So I was
She
like,
lays
okay.
she lays her head on his very hairy chest. I was like, oh,
Yes.
that's okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So he says, he says like when he's in the bedroom, he says like you're supposed to consummate like your marriage the first night, right? That was my main takeaway of his alone time.
Yeah.
Then she comes to bed. He opens up his arms. He is shirtless with just his underwear. Opens up his arms wide, like, come on.
Ugh. This gives me and like she's talking about like he's so hot. Like this is where she says 12 out of 10. And as she's saying that stuff, like he's like, walking around the apartment without his shirt on, just this very pale, like
Right.
kind of dad body, like
Mm-hmm.
not you would think the way that they are like focusing on him and slow-moing him, that he's just like this jacked like guy.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like a doughy kind of 40-year-old white guy.
Mm-hmm. There is a all while this is going on, like her getting in the bed and cuddling up to him. There's a song playing that's like I Found My Angel.
Oh gosh.
I don't know if
I
you
have
know
really
this.
just literally tuned out all these terrible songs they have playing now by your favorite artist. What is it? What are their name? What's their name?
Litany.
Litany. Yeah, like, whoever that is.
Right. I actually just went to a concert a few weeks ago. Toby Nweigwe, Litany, who is Luke Whitney, he sings backup for Toby. So I got to see him live. Again, I've seen him live a bunch of
You
times.
scream out and like, I love MAFS. I love your work.
From as far back as I was, barely 2 people in front of me could hear that.
I love your vague songs telling us what's happening in the scene.
Right. So they wake up in the morning. He said he slept amazing. We find out that they only slept 3 hours. They were up all night talking. He's still in shock and awe of yesterday. We get a confessional from him saying, we didn't have sex. I wanted to. Look, I'm a guy in my sexual prime. I just want to have a solid relationship and do things for the right reasons. If we have kids, I don't want them to look back and be like, what did he say?
Dad went after it the first night. So I fully believe that Clint would raise children that would say something like that, because Clint is the type of guy that would say something like that. I don't think Clint has aged past like 20.
Yeah, that's where he stopped.
He is perpetually stuck in this frat boy like phase of his life where he's so concerned with amount of sexual partners, with sex is like forefront of his mind. Like that's really important to him. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah. It's his maturity definitely peaked 21. It feels. Yeah. That's right. Or what if it's like is it called a parabola? Like he did mature at one point.
It's like
around
a waveform.
30.
It's like a waveform. It's going up and
down.
Yeah.
And he's back at 21.
he's back. He's back.
Yeah.
Folks, with the awkward, like cringy jokes.
Yeah. So she asked him, they're in bed in the morning after their first night together. She asked him his morning routine. He usually gets up 5:30, 6. She's like, same. I wake up with a list. I wake up and I'm like, let me tackle that list. She says that she left her work phone, so she's not gonna be bringing on the honeymoon. He's like, is that gonna be hard for you? She's like, look, I want to be a good leader, but I feel like I can't be if I'm being stretched too thin. And so she's excited to let go the reins a little bit.
I mean, I don't understand how you are so involved and invested in starting up this brick and mortar, but you're going to leave your phone home.
Yeah, for a week.
Yeah.
That's a big relinquishing control.
Maybe she has someone that she really trusts.
I mean, well, yeah.
That side of
course.
It. That she can leave in their hands for a bit.
Yeah. I think this is her version of, look, I'm trying to prioritize something in my personal life. Something. I'm
Just
taking
the
a
husband.
moment.
Just the
Yeah.
husband.
I'm taking a little second to prioritize this, and then I'll be back in full form because she's gonna have some catching up to do. So I'm really interested to see how that's gonna play out when they get back. Because she's gonna be busy.
I'm
Uh,
excited to see how they balance that.
yeah. So Clint is with her brother and his wife, who is Gina's sister-in-law. He says like his emotions are all over the place, and like he all of his anxiety was alleviated when he saw her, or like when he met Gina. We hop over to Gina with his friends, and his friend asks like, okay, so do you think he's hot?
Clint hangs around with more Clints. Like, obviously, like it's a whole like wolf pack. They probably call themselves like the wolf pack or something. Like, and they just are cringy.
They're like, how did you know?
Yeah, they just cringy, just dude bros that like say this stuff. Like, so you think he's hot or what? Like, you see him without his jacket on. Like, how many times a day these guys say that's what she said? Like, that's just the kind of guys that these guys are.
Right. She said, yeah, I think he's hot. And she's like, usually, so she talks about like not being attracted to, like, she's never usually attracted to lighter hair, but her ex had lighter hair, and she started liking his personality more. I got lost in this response.
I wasn't sure if she was talking about the ex or she was talking about Clint.
I had to rewind it. She was talking about the ex.
Yeah, why are you talking about your ex right now?
All right, that's what I was thinking.
And when he said, "Do you think he's hot?" She said, "Yeah." That was not a convincing yeah.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, you know, kind of subjective, but sure.
Right. It's like, do you think this season is the best Married at First Sight season ever?
It's a season of Married at First Sight. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a season.
Yeah. It's just the higher pitch you go up, the least the convincing. Yeah.
Totally.
Such a great season.
So we hop back.
Best season we've ever had. Ever.
So we jump back over to him meeting with her brother and sister-in-law, and so her sister-in-law says like what could be a problem in their relationship, and Clint's like, yeah, if we're both just hard-headed, but like if we run into conflict, it's just going to be how we deal with it that matters.
There was something about how he said this, how he's like, if we're just both hard-headed, not trying to see each other's viewpoints, that said to me like, if she doesn't see my way of things, it's going to be a problem. Like, I don't know what it was, just the way that he said it was like, if she doesn't agree with me, it's going to be a problem.
Right. Something about that made me. He specifically said if we're both hard-headed.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like that.
But not if just one of us is hard-headed.
Like, she's going to have to come to my way of thinking, or it's going to be an issue.
Right. So we get a confessional with the sister-in-law, and she's like, one red flag is that they are so similar. So it's like, that's interesting that she's getting that vibe from this conversation. Clint asks like, what should he worry about? And the brother says that she just doesn't have a lot of free time, and she does travel very frequently. And Clint says, yeah, that's just something that we'll have to combat.
Yeah, there's no plan. Just like, there's something I have to talk about.
Yeah. Right. So that's it for them.
Yeah. So where are we at?
Last week.
You can guess where I'm going to be.
It just very easy to please, I guess, with these people. Last week I was on thin ice. You were solid. So this week, 1, 2, 3.
Boop, solid.
Jason is solid.
I still have a lot to go.
I am on thin ice.
I'm being real. I'm being a realist right now. You are.
No, you're being an optimist.
I'm not saying they will stay solid. I'm saying at this moment in time, I'm freezing this moment and saying, where are they right now? They're solid right now.
Right now, they're in a position where he has shown no interest in her job when clearly that's all she cares about. That's all I need to see.
You're reading into this. You're really trying to find a problem.
No, Why are you acting like you have never seen a season of Married at First Sight where anything that we're learning right now matters?
I know it's gonna go bad, but we're talking about in the moment. They have chemistry. Have no fights. Everything's gone well in this moment. I'm talking about in this moment.
Yeah, I'm going based off of what we've learned so far.
Okay. Listen, we're just coming at this in two different ways, I think.
That's clearly, we did not establish the rules.
Oh, clearly.
Where our head needs to be. I didn't know we were coming to this having to be as optimistic as possible.
I'm not being optimistic about this. Nothing's happened. They have barely spent any time together. They haven't had no time to be on thin ice or doomed. They've barely spent time together. They've been doing so much other stuff for like their families or whatnot. When it gets real, that's when the ratings will change. That's when my ratings will change.
The real world.
The real.
Okay, last but not least.
Chris and Nicole, like Charlie Brown and what's the female equivalent for Charlie Brown?
I was about to say Patty Mayonnaise. Different show.
That's Doug. Peppermint Patty, but she wasn't like Charlie Brown. Who was like the depressed like equivalent for Charlie Brown?
Oh, okay. I literally was typing Charlie Brown girl equivalent. Not Lucy, right?
No, Lucy was a confident like girl that like swiped the football out from Charlie Brown all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just someone that's down on themselves, like doesn't have a lot of self-esteem. It's just like, oh, woe is me, bad stuff's happening. These two deserve each other. Like these two are made for each other.
They're a Cinderella story.
Yeah. Chris is Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
So we already saw them entering the bridal suite. We didn't get a rehash of that, which I appreciate, which I think is probably a result of the shortened time. So that's something good. Mm-hmm. So we come with them to the next morning. They're having breakfast in bed. They're like, oh, it's so great that we're not going to have a bed full of dog hair for once, right? See, well, talk to me about the dog hair in the bed.
Jason, I knew you were going to bring this up. Both of my dogs, I mean, they're the same breed. They're Maltese, Shih Tzu, and Poodle. Because of their poodles, they do not shed. Like, I don't ever have to lint roll my couch or my bed. The only time they'll shed is if I do like some intense brushing on them. Mm-hmm. But they don't walk around shedding.
Oh, that's smart. Good choice in dog breed you have there.
Yes.
In a confessional,
I can't wait to tell Jason that they don't shed.
Just put it in my face.
Yes.
Like I've been waiting. I had it on a note card. I was waiting to tell you.
It's like I have a paper. They do not shed.
Yeah. In a confessional, he says it was great to wake up next to his wife, and it was great to cuddle her at night. They talk about what their first fight's going to be like. She says, well, how do you feel about being late? He says, well, I try to be early all the time. She says, well, I'm pretty much late to everything. He says, well, it should be because you're putting on your makeup because you're just such a natural beauty. Chris.
Aww.
You can't. How long can he keep this up? Like,
with the way that they've talked about how invested he gets in relationships, he could keep it up for 20 years.
I think he's going to get frustrated because she's not returning the compliments like he is giving them. He cannot keep up with her.
You think he's that type of complimenter that he expects it to come back?
I think at a certain point he will. I don't think he's made it like past a certain point in relationships where it's like, I feel like I'm giving you compliments all the time and I'm not getting anything in return. I think at a certain point that's
when you got to learn each other's love languages. Like he has learned that he wants to invest in words of affirmation. I'm going to give that no matter who the woman is. Mm-hmm. However, he does not know what Nicole. Yes, Nicole. I was like, wait, Nicole. I said the wrong name for him pre-podcast.
Yeah. What's his name? Nick? What's his name? The one guy. Literally what she said to you. The one guy. There are 5 guys on the show.
I mean, maybe he knows her love language at this point, but I feel like that's his go-to and that's something he feels like he can do really well is give that love language. However, and right now it's working where she is very flattered, and when he says these things, she does take it to heart.
But I do wonder if it's going to get to a certain point where she's like, okay, that's enough.
Is it genuine anymore?
I appreciate it, but you're doing it every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like he needs to. They just need to get to know each other better to know what works, and maybe words of affirmation is his love language. And if that's the case, that's something he would need to communicate, or they need to discuss, because she may not. Especially what we've learned about her past relationships, she's probably not going to be over complimenting somebody because of something that has like traumatized her in the past in different relationships. So I feel like it. And I know that's already getting onto him for something that hasn't even happened yet. You know, he may not even get mad if she doesn't compliment him. But I feel like he is leaning heavy into the words of affirmation right now.
Heavy. So in a confessional, after he says this to her, she says, he makes me feel more special than anyone ever has. Almost to the point she can't believe this is happening, but she knows it's genuine and sincere, and she's finally accepting what she deserves from someone in that type of love. But don't worry, we're not in love yet. No, I'm not saying that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, I know it's only
gotta wait at least another day. I just, she has spent so long with not getting seemingly any positive like affirmation from a partner. So right now it's all sunshine and rainbows because he's saying all the right stuff.
Yeah. She's like, just like Kirsten. She's like, don't worry. I know you're wondering. We did not say I love you. We're like, we didn't think that y'all were in love asking. Yet.
We already know that you're not in love yet. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like what you just said may be the reason that, they may get to a point of like conflict is if like she gets out of this like fairy tale land of like, oh, I'm hearing all this stuff I've never heard before. And then she's just like gets like snaps into reality of like, okay, how do I feel about him?
Right.
And not just
the words are nice.
The words he's saying to me.
Who is he as a person? Who is he beyond the words?
Don't ask her dad.
Oh no. He's we get to the family meetings. He's meeting up with her mom, her dad, and her stepdad, who much like Jasmine's mom has spoken not one word. So her dad wants to make sure that and he wants to make sure that their mind is at ease and that he's going to treat their daughter right. He says, I play no games. I'm very straightforward. I am the same person now as who I will be when I die. That's what he says. Okay. That's rather extreme.
Okay, no growth.
Yeah, no growth at all. You've totally grown up. You will be no better than you are now. Like you have just mastered living. He says, so what are you guys' concerns? Like, let me hear him. Dad says, well, when I heard about this whole thing, I didn't like it. My concern is if you guys can compromise and merge your lives together. Chris says, well, it's really going to be about taking interest in each other's likes. Like she needs to like what I like and I need to like what she likes. Her mom asks if he's ready to be a husband. He says, I think I am. Dad says, well, you already are. How are you going to think? You are a husband now. So how do you think you are? You need to already know that you are.
As soon as I heard think, I was like, ugh, Chris,
you don't want to say think. Company of parents. In confessional, Dad says, he seems nice, but so do most serial killers.
What is their obsession? I know we're going to talk about that, but like, geez, stop referencing serial killers.
Even Rudy talked about it after party. Like, what is it with you and Max? Your dad, her dad, and Max's mom. Whose mom? Dominique's mom.
Dom's, yeah.
Yeah. And he says the jury's still out on him, and it's either you're 100% or you're 100% out. I think Chris is 100% in, as far as we know so far.
Absolutely. Like, no feet out. Like, he locked the door and swallowed the key. Like listen, there's Dad, no getting out.
Listen, Dad, we don't think you have to worry. Like, he's in this. We've seen more than you've seen, Dad. He's in it. He's 100% in. Chris does assure him, like, I'm in this for the right reasons. Dad says, yeah, well, that sounds nice, but actions speak a lot louder than words. Meanwhile, Nicole is meeting up with his mom, his dad, and his brother. Mom talks about how Chris has such a big heart and he's so nurturing. His brother says, Chris can really be consumed with relationships. And he asks her how, she feels about that. Nicole says, well, I'm really going to encourage him to kind of, have a life of his own as well as being married to me. Like, I like to go out with my friends. I don't want him trying to stop me from doing that. I was like, we got another Justin Alexis problem on our hands.
Because I was like, where did this come from? This isn't a side of Nicole we hadn't heard this before.
I bet you if you asked Nicole, she would have said she had no friends. No one likes her. She's so down on herself. So the brother says his concern is that Chris is going to take this really hard if this doesn't work out. And then we hear from Nicole. She says, they're constantly telling me about how nice he is, even how kind he is to a fault. And I've never had that before in a relationship, and that makes me realize I really need to protect his heart. Dad says, if you don't think it's going to work out, don't drag it out. Like, damn, I have to, like, sir, do you know the experiment's 8 weeks? Like, we have to at least do 8 weeks, unless we just try quit, like everyone, like other people.
Yeah,
that was interesting. Like, you can tell the family has had like just their fill of sad, depressed Chris, like being dumped or being treated badly. Like, please don't do that again, because we can't take much more of that.
Yeah, I mean, with how hard it feels like he loves, or how hard he falls into relationships, it seems like he's probably told them on many occasions, I think I found my wife.
Oh yeah, they hear this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you're the third wife we've got so far.
Okay,
this time,
hey,
he actually got married this time, which is a surprise.
They're like, we're not gonna hold our breath. We know this is an experiment.
Right. They get their honeymoon box, and they ask. They finally go to Jamaica. She says, "Do you think we'll have sex in Jamaica?" He looks at her like,
I thought she was joking too, but she waited for an answer.
He looks at her like, "We'll see what happens. What happens is going to happen, but you will look beautiful in the sun every day."
Right.
Every 5 minutes. It's got to.
He already anticipated it. Yeah. What if she doesn't?
What if she looks ugly in the sun?
He's like, I already said it. I already put it out there.
So in the confessional, Nicole, predicts that things are going to heat up pretty quickly in Jamaica, I think.
How would they not? It's Jamaica.
So yeah, let's take a detour. We get everyone leaving for Jamaica, right? Not a lot happened here. We do get everyone meeting up in the lobby. Everyone gets to meet each other's spouses that they haven't met before. We get a lot of talk about how the vibes are good. No one sees any issues that are really going to pop off. Era says, well, you never know what's going to happen once the drinks get flowing. We can have another fight on an airplane like we did with Lindsay and Elijah a couple seasons ago. Eris, in front of everyone, says he can't wait to get to Jamaica and get intimate. In front of everyone.
Read the room.
Right. Jasmine just looks at him like, what's wrong with you?
He thinks he's just in front of the guys. I could not make sense of this at all.
Well, listen, it's not just him. They get on the bus. Nicole talks about the chemistry is good. Max starts joking. He's like, yeah, me and Dom had sex. Just joking. Sorry. Dom says they're just like cuddles. We thought that the cast last season was sex crazy.
Just only escalated.
Yeah. They get to the airport. Everyone has little confessionals. We find out that Eris has pre-check, but Jasmine does not. And even though, she doesn't, he's going to wait for her because that's the kind of thing to do for your wife.
But he says she will get it.
She's going to get it. So then we get a shot of people on the airplane. Mac and Dom are on the airplane. Mac is complaining that he has the middle seat. And this is why he usually flies first class. At first, I thought he was joking.
I did too.
But then we get to after party. And Dom tells the story of, they almost missed their flight to Jamaica because Mac was trying to upgrade their seats, but he actually ended up canceling it by accident. And then she talks about how, he talked to the ticket people.
That was something that I thought that she was too understanding about when she was explaining the story. By accident, you don't what happened was he was so confident that he could get the other flight that he canceled without confirming that he could get the other flight.
I didn't know what was happening because Rudy was like, "Oh yeah, he accidentally clicked cancel instead of upgrade." I was like, "That's a thing? I didn't know that was a thing."
Right? Yeah, the buttons are right next to each other.
Yeah. And so this apparently really became an issue for Mac, like sitting in not first class. I think even Chris said he ended up sitting with Chris and Nicole away from Dom because he didn't want to sit in the middle seat.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is really revealing about Mac. And just kind of, I feel like, and the reveal that mom had a just extra 50,000 lying around to bribe him to not get married. Yeah, just lightness. Really kind of tells me Mac may be a little spoiled. Maybe like a trust fund kid, maybe. I don't know.
Because at this, because even, why didn't they just switch seats so they could sit by each other?
It was too cramped. He could not sit in this economy, grossness. Everyone's around. I can smell everyone's BO. You don't get this in first class. I feel like Mac might be a little entitled, might be a little spoiled. And it makes me also wonder, we've really been assuming that Dom does something just crazy and she, it ends up going very badly. What if by the time we get to this, whatever happens in the future, where we see Dom Mac carrying her stuff out, and something that Mac has done, maybe she just cannot take Mac any longer.
It very well could be. Maybe all of this talk, everything that we're getting from them is preparing us for what's to come. Like it's going to be relevant because I can't even imagine. One thing I'm also caught up on because they showed that premiere commercial was like new season of Married at First Sight with a shocking twist. What's the shocking twist?
The speculation that I've heard online is that there's going to be a spouse that hits on another spouse. I'm not sure if it's, man to woman or woman to man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen the speculation be online. That this is what the big to do is going to be for this season. And I think it's been a lot of speculation that it's Dom that is, doing the bad thing here. That's the speculation.
We'll see. I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later because I was simply trying to figure out why the episode was an hour and a half. I go to Google. I'm trying to just figure out timing. And because I completely forgot about the expanding to 90 minutes article. And it literally pops up it says spoiler, McKinley and Dominique. I didn't read further because I don't like to be spoiled. I want to have genuine reactions while I'm watching. I was like, are you kidding me? I can't Google anything about this show.
Gotta be careful in the internet streets. They try to spoil you in a heartbeat. But yeah, that's the speculation for the season. That's what's going to happen. But I think, what if it's something that by the end of this, we agree with Dom? We're like, yep, Dom, get out of here. What if Dom is our Chris from a couple seasons ago? We're like, yep, end it. That was not for you. He is terrible. What if that is what ends up happening?
It very well. I don't know what to believe. It very well. I'm expecting any scenario.
What a twist. They all get to their honeymoon suites. Eris feels like a king in their big jet tub they have there, and he asked Jasmine to feed him grapes.
She was like, right now?
And she did it. Yeah. To her credit. She's like, all right, cool. I'll get you some grapes.
Pulls the plastic off of the fruit tray.
Yeah. Well, let's get this thing started, I guess. So yeah, that was them arriving in Jamaica. After everyone arrives in Jamaica, we get one more segment with Nicole and Chris. Actually, you know what? We ran out of time. Sorry, y'all thought this was going to be a 2 hour and 30-minute podcast. We're cutting it early, unexpectedly. No, Chris and Nicole are in their room, laying on their bed, talking. And Chris begins to tell the story about the last time he went on a trip with a significant other. He says nothing intimate happened. She wouldn't touch or talk to me, and she would just say mean things to me. Did she not talk to you, or did she say mean things to you? Which one is it?
She wouldn't talk nicely to him. Key adjective left out.
So I'm like, why? But why? What? Like, she just out of the blue just started hating on you? Like, I need more. I need more explanation. I need more answers. Why did you take this person on a trip with you? She's gonna act like that? Like,
Right.
poor Charlie Brown, aka Chris. He's just so down in the dumps. He just gets so mistreated. I need to know more.
Right. Like it's either awful communication or like, did she just never tell him why she was that way? Or maybe she told him, he was just like, he's focusing on what actually happened rather than like, oh, it was because she wasn't into it anymore.
He's so like, woe is me, so like feel sorry for me. I need to know the other side. I need to know why she would treat you this way.
I mean, what if it was a situation they booked the trip? It was for her, it was already in that Jasmine and Eris, like, I know the end is coming, so I'm already starting to move on, and I just haven't ended it yet. Go on the trip, and then it ends.
Like, are you sure this was your like girlfriend, or this wasn't someone that you like kidnapped and forced to come with you on vacation, and so she was mean to you? I need to know more. But in a confessional, Nicole does say, in past relationships, men have not openly shared their feelings with her. So this is really a first for her, where the her partner is opening up to her first. She talks to him about her vacation anxiety, because she says when she's on vacation with someone, that is when she is really herself. And she worries that spending so many days with someone as herself, they will find something they don't like about her, that, they think she's crazy and, have these moments. I mean, these two, wow, they're so
made in heaven.
They're so down about themselves. It's like, wow, pep up. It's okay. He asked her, so have you had any bad relationships? Like, like what I just described to you? And she talks about how in her first relationship, it was very toxic. And the guy would constantly tell her that she was unworthy of love. And she ended up, he said so much that she believed him because she cared about him so much. And he apparently burned her with a cigarette. Said, if you love me, you will let me burn you. And the scar is a reminder that the past is there. In every relationship after, she has felt unworthy and had to prove herself. But she has changed for the better and knows that she is worthy of love.
And Chris, being the knight in shining armor that he is, proceeds to kiss the scar.
Kiss the scar. Wow, that was heavy. That was a heavy moment. I was just like, wow. I don't even know what to say about that.
I know. It's just like, well, for one, I'm glad that she feels comfortable enough with Chris at this point to open up about this. It also does paint the picture of just like her perception on relationships, because we see this is one example. She probably has, I mean, not like examples such as this, but other stories she could tell about why she feels the way she does about relationships, and her in relationships. So, I mean, goodness.
Yeah, it informs a lot about her and her insecurity, her issues. That this was her first relationship, but she was, I'm sure, a very young person.
She says she was so toxic at that age too. Mm-hmm. She's like, was painting the picture of her at that time to say like that, not how she feels about herself today.
Yeah, he tells her, you should never have to sacrifice who you are to make someone else happy, and her past matters to him. And he says, "When you even tell me what you've been through, and I feel like we can be so open with each other already." And then we get into a confession where he says he admires her strength, her beauty, and her courage. And it meant a lot that she was able to open up to him like that. And his message to her exes is their loss, his gain. And he says it already feels like he's known her his whole life. And that's the episode. That was where we end the episode.
I'm like, wait, maybe I take it back. Y'all aren't in love yet.
I feel like we're just about there. Like, all that's left is the words.
Exactly. Okay. Let's see where we are.
I mean, how can you be anything? But
this is the only couple that deserves solid. We're both solid. Finally on the same page.
yeah, they I mean, we have seen in the previews that they're going to have some rocky times ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But for as of right now, my gosh, like they seem like they're just match made in heaven.
Yeah, I'm hoping like anything that comes up isn't relationship ending or I mean, because it feels like they're feeling these emotions in extremes, right?
Yes.
So they're like so happy, they're so into this. And I'm really hoping that like when they do feel anger, it's not like so angry that they can't come back from it.
In the past, we have had couples that are so head over heels in the first week, just crash and burn. Hello, Alexis and Justin, as one example. So we'll see. We will see.
All right. We managed to somehow go 45 minutes longer than the episode. Oh, or go ahead.
I said earlier, we're somehow going to find a way to make this almost 2.5 hours, even though we got 30 minutes less of episode.
Right, exactly. I'm excited. Next week we should have a special guest, so stay tuned for that. But
let's
yeah,
not get everybody's hopes up. It's not Bao and Tofu. Okay?
Right. Exactly. Not just good friend of the podcast. So Jason, what are you up to these days?
As of right now, this is my only gig, but I do have stuff coming up, and we'll talk about that when it gets closer to actually happening. But let's just say February is a big month for your boy. You can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. Aysha, what is going on with you?
Well, besides nursing this lovely pup back to health, she's had a little procedure done this week.
You say a little procedure?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I talk to them all day.
Oh, I know. I've heard you talk to the dogs.
Oh, I don't mute the mic every time I talk to them.
No, you want to do procedure guy? Are you okay? Do you want a tweet?
Yes, a tweet. They're just so adorable to me. So
I think they're adorable too.
Okay.
They're adorable, kids, pups.
I think she actually likes this thing. It's in replacement to her neck pillow or to her
donut.
Yeah, it's a donut
around her head.
that's replacing her cone that she is supposed to have on. But this does the job as well. 2 weeks, she'll be back in tip-top shape.
But is that her travel pillow when you get her a first class seat on an airplane? That where
I have never flown first class.
I don't believe that.
Surprise.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just private jets for Aysha Welch.
Oh my god. But y'all can follow me on Twitter, Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Besides everything I mentioned last week, I haven't had any other projects going on at the moment, but stay tuned. There's stuff to come. So we're on here every week, so you'll hear about things that are coming up. And then, if you want to see any dog content, follow my TikTok at Malshi Poo Sisters. That's where I have way more of pepper and cinnamon content. But yeah, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Thank you so much for engaging in any way that you do, whether it's the Facebook group or leaving us a rating and review. Just make sure that, if you're listening, you're engaging so that we know that you're enjoying the content. We will be back next week to talk about episode 5. Hopefully it's a good one. Fingers crossed. But until then, we will see y'all next week. Bye.